You are on the Punchline with Kelly Pavlik and James Dominguez. Welcome to the show.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Thanks. Giving.
Happy Thanksgiving. And we have some great guests today. We got Michael Carbajal,
Yep.
4-time world champion and boxing Hall of Famer.
Yes.
And also UFC number 3 ranked welterweight, Matt Brown.
Yeah, we do.
And he's going to be calling in, and we're going to talk a little boxing today, and we'll talk about whatever else we feel like talking about, right?
Yep. Yeah. Does anybody like? Can we see my turkey?
We
That we
can't.
killed
the turkey back. It's not like pull back a little.
I'm going to go ahead and put us on the show right now.
Keep pulling. Keep pulling. Keep pulling.
The turkey.
A little more. There you go. That was good.
As you can see, we killed this, and we didn't take the spares out, and we cooked it, but we still got a little bit of blood on the hoof.
And we still got the arrows in it. I'm a terrible cook. I'm actually putting the show on right now for us on so we can see it. And
Yeah. So if there's any questions for Michael Carbajal, feel free to shoot them in. And I think we're going to be giving him a call here. I talked to his publicist, and they're eager to get on.
hey, can you get us on? Can you get me on here where it's frozen?
Yeah. So if there's any questions for
Yeah. So how's the week been?
What's wrong?
Actually, pretty good.
Get it to where it's like no sound, like where it freezes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
It's been pretty good. Busy, man.
Busy week.
Yeah, busy like always, but other than that, pretty good. A lot to be thankful for.
It is a lot of things to be thankful for. We have 2 more shows, and our season's over. And we're going to take a little...
I made your season over. This is because season 3, episode 1.
Awesome. Then we're season 3 right now.
We're doing 12 sets.
After we do next week's episode, we're going to do a in the ring, and then we're going to do a hiatus till after the holidays. And we have some new changes coming to the show, right?
Yes.
The format, we're going to change a little bit of the format of the show. It's going to make people who watch the show make you guys work a little harder to watch it.
Yeah, we are going to be going to YouTube, and what we're going to have to work out with our friend here, Justin. I see that we could get YouTube live questions, right, Justin?
Yeah.
So is there a link where we can put up on our page and put it on Facebook so people know that they can go to that link to YouTube live and listen to it? Can they go to our link live?
Yeah.
Okay, and then
It's
we're going
live right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But we'll give you the link to the YouTube live, and then you guys could, and you can still follow the show like you do on Facebook. And you could ask questions.
Well, yeah, we're just doing that instead of Facebook because Facebook has a lot of restriction things that we can and can't do. So YouTube's going to be a little more open for the show.
Mm-hmm. So
YouTube's going to be a little more open for us for the show to do a little and say a little more things that we couldn't get away with on Facebook. So I think...
yeah. So,
hey, without further ado, our first guest today is going to be Michael Carbajal. You want to get him on the line right away?
yes, because we had told him 5 minutes, so let's do that.
All right, and we're talking to Michael Carbajal, 4-time world champion, light flyweight champion.
Hope the turkey ain't blocking our sound.
I doubt it.
Hello?
Hey, Michael.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Kelly Pavlik and James Dominguez, and you're on the Punchline.
Hey, what's up?
Nah, not much. So it's an honor to have you on. First of all, we're huge fans. Obviously, I've paid attention, and James adores you. So how's everything going?
What was that?
How's everything going with you?
Oh, yeah, everything's going good.
Good.
Cool.
Growing up, you were my favorite fighter growing up. I just wanted to say that. It's an honor to have you on. I followed your career, and when I was a kid, I got to meet you. I got a shirt from you, a Little Hands of Stone shirt, and I still had it up until my adult years.
That's cool. Thank you, James. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I saw you at the Forum, and it was such a big deal for me, as a young amateur, and it was amazing. And I know Kelly, as a pro, followed you too as well. So yeah. So tell us
That's cool, man. I appreciate that.
What's been new with you?
Do.
What's going on with you? What are you doing to keep busy nowadays?
I train fighters. now. I have my gym going. I've been having my gym since '93, since I've been fighting.
Are you still over on 9th Street still?
I'm still on 9th Street.
Wow.
I never leave here.
Yeah, that's been some years.
Yeah. I'll never leave.
No, you're that. You know that city belongs to you. You know you're the president of that city. So let me ask you, for a lot of fans who don't know, how did you get into the sport, Michael? What brought you into the sport?
My father used to be a fighter, and he's the one who taught me. Since I was about 5 years old, he was teaching me, and I've always wanted to fight, but he never let me. He said, "You just wait till you get older." And I kept bugging him until I turned about 13 years old, 14.
Yeah.
Then he let me compete, and I started from there.
Wow. And I read somewhere that you when you were growing up, you were mad at Roberto Duran because your mom kept telling you that she was going to run away with him.
Yeah, that's true. that is very true.
Is it?
That is funny. Funny story.
I rooted for you in the Olympics. I mean, it was such an honor. One of my head boxing coaches was your teammate in the Olympics, Anthony Hembrick.
Oh yeah.
And he told me that you were the most talented guy on the team.
Well, tell him I said thank you. I haven't spoke to him or seen him since the Olympics.
Since he missed the bus. Since he missed the bus, right?
Yeah, man, that was terrible.
Yeah.
That was sad.
Yeah, it was.
That was man.
But
he went all the way over there and missed the bus.
He couldn't read the schedule.
And, well, you know what? That was the coach's fault.
Oh, I agree.
That was their fault, man. That was really messed up.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Hey, you know, Mike. We on this show here we have our fans. They interact and they like to ask questions. And if you don't mind, I got a question from Daniel Perro, and he wanted to know was Gonzalez your hardest fight, and if so, which one?
The first one, the first fight was the hardest fight, but I think my toughest fight was against Kid. Only because he hit a whole lot harder. Everything he hit me with, man, I was like, damn, I gotta get rid of this dude, man. He was hitting me with. I came back to the corner, man. He's hitting me with them right hands, and Mike goes, "No, that's a jab." I said, "Damn, it feels like a right hand."
Yeah.
But that dude could hit.
Wow. Obviously, none of them fights. When somebody hits hard, that's never fun. Believe me.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. That guy got two right hands.
Let me ask you this, Michael. You know, you're known for having lights out power even at 108 pounds. And I remember back in the day, I remember hearing from coaches like Rudy Hernandez and Robert Garcia and them. They were saying that you were knocking out lightweights in the gym. Is that true?
That I was what?
You were knocking out lightweights in the gym, sparring.
I don't know if I was knocking them out. I was beating them up, though.
Well, they were saying that.
I mean, I was sparring with all the big guys because I was so small. I didn't have anybody to spar with, so I had to spar all the heavier guys. So but I was surprised that I could handle them, and they were a whole lot bigger than me, and I was just about as strong as they were.
Yeah.
So that really surprised me.
It really is. I mean, where did you generate that power from? I mean, how, you know, I know where it generates from, but when did you notice that you were just a one-punch knockout guy?
I didn't. I never noticed it. I just went in there, threw my combinations, and I just had the power. Like, you know what, really, I didn't know that I was a one-punch knockout guy. You know, I can knock somebody out with one punch. I never knew that.
Yeah.
I just knew that the way my father told me to punch is to use my whole body and my hips. And he taught me that since I was 5 years old, and I never forgot that.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it came from.
Yeah, I remember I remember when I was a kid, I remember watching, on before they would have the fights on the forum, they would have like the little fighter bios. You remember those?
Yeah.
And I remember an article when you're saying that you were a kid, that your favorite cartoon character was Magilla Gorilla because your mom used to tell you look like Magilla Gorilla.
That's funny, man. You remember everything.
I'm telling you. I went old
I
school.
didn't even remember that one. Yeah, it was.
Hey, Michael, this guy,
she did call me Magilla Gorilla.
Yeah, it did.
Because that was my favorite cartoon. But anyway, she said when I used to get mad, that I looked like a gorilla. So she really started calling me Magilla Gorilla because of that. Because she said every time I got really mad, and she goes, "You look just like a gorilla when you get mad." And then she started calling me Magilla Gorilla because I like the cartoon Magilla Gorilla.
When I told you were my favorite fighter, I wasn't saying that for the show. I'm actually saying that, when I was a kid, I'm my favorite fighter. I actually mean it.
Yeah, no, he knows his stuff. James reads up. So.
Well, that name came, from my idol Roberto Duran. So I've always, once I saw him fight, even though I didn't like him at first because of my mom, when I was a little kid, I really didn't like him. But when I saw him fight, I was like, man, this guy could fight.
Yeah.
And after that, I just followed his career, and he became my idol.
Wow. And I've heard some great stories with you and one of my family members, Fernando Vargas, and you guys hanging out in Vegas.
Yeah.
I heard some stories about you guys hanging out in Vegas and with Roger Romo and all them great stories about you guys. And you check in a whole bunch of guys in the locker room for talking crazy. I remember hearing stories about that.
Well, the I'm surprised he didn't tell you the story when I stood at his house.
Oh,
that's when we had that fun. It was crazy. It was crazy. I had stood over night at his house while he picked me up over in Vegas. Well, no, it wasn't Vegas, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And
went up to Oxnard.
I just stood over at his house. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, me and Kelly have spent many nights in that house ourselves. Trust, we know what kind of fun that is.
Yeah. Yes. It's like that house is like enter at your own risk. So.
That's right.
You have
we had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. We had you have some questions by some of your fans. Some of these guys, they've been looking forward all week to talking to you.
Yeah, Damon Martinez, who's this kid Damon Martinez is a huge fan. He wanted to know, did Michael like boxing, like really love it? So I guess from that question, I mean, what was that? Obviously it was your life, but did you truly love it? Was that the favorite thing to do? Was boxing, or was there any other sports or hobbies?
No, it was pure boxing ever since I was 5 years old, really. But ever since I started, right after my first amateur fight, I already knew this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go up. You know what? I never even. The only thing I wanted to do was become a world champion. Throughout, ever since I was an amateur.
Yeah.
I never even thought about the Olympics or the Pan American Games or anything like that.
Yeah.
That just came about. I was fighting because I wanted to be a professional world champion.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the main goal.
Daniel Poro wants to know, who's your favorite fighter of all time, and also who's one of your favorite fighters today?
My favorite fighter of all time, of course, Roberto Duran.
Yeah.
Today, as of right now, is Mikey Garcia.
Oh yeah, Mikey's one of our favorites too.
Yeah, good friend of ours.
Yeah.
Good friend of ours. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Kevin Kelly, the ex-world champ, the former world champ. He's watching the show too, Mike.
Oh yeah, Kevin Kelly.
Kevin Kelly's watching you right now.
Kevin Kelly, oh yeah, I had some fun with him too. He's funny, boy. That boy can talk.
Yep.
Yeah.
He talks 24/7. He won't stop. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I had the privilege.
He's funny though, man. Is he watching right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's watching. He's listening.
Yep. I had the privilege actually after my.
Tell him I said what's up.
Michael
Tell
says,
him I said what's up.
I will. Kevin, Michael said, what's up?
Tell him not to talk too much though.
Didn't you, Kelly? Did you?
I had the privilege. I mean, he came up to my room after the second Taylor fight, and we sat there and bullshitted for easily 2 hours. It was a really cool dude.
Yeah, he's a real cool dude. He's funny too, man.
I'll tell you who else never shut up. I'll tell you who else never shut up was Vinny Pazienza would never shut up either, man. That guy would wear you out.
Yeah, Vinny Pazienza.
Really?
Yeah.
he seems so. He seems like that. I never met him before, buddy.
Yeah,
he seems like that kind of guy.
I got stuck
You know who else would do that too?
Who's that?
Hector Camacho.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But that dude is funny, man. That dude is the most craziest dude I ever met.
Yeah, and you know what the thing about Hector was? Hector had two sides. He had the side when the camera came on, and when the camera came off, he's a whole different person.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. But you know what? There was no cameras where we were at. I'm going to tell you a story. This is the most funniest story that you will ever hear.
All right.
But I don't know if I can really talk about it.
You can talk about it. You're among friends.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Okay, we went to a strip club. And we were up there. We were having some drinks. And he goes, "Watch this, Michael." And I go, "What are you gonna do, man?" He goes, "Just wait, just watch." He went downstairs. He got on the main stage, took his pants off. He had a G-string on, and he started dancing. And all the girls were just kissing him. I mean, like, bam, bam, bam. And he came back after he was done. I was laughing my ass off.
Yeah.
And then after he was done, he goes, "See, I told you, Michael, just wait. We're going to get some more drinks. Don't worry about it." And that was the most craziest.
Wow.
That was the most craziest dude I ever met.
Man, that is good.
Going back
and funny though, but real funny.
Yeah,
He's a real funny dude. He was cool.
He got stuck between Vinny Pazienza and Tommy Lasorda.
Yeah.
At the Italian American Hall of Fame. Hey, Mike, I got another question from a guy. His name's Champ Ross. He wants to know, Mike, what does Mike think about how the lower weight classes, 105 pounds and 115, never get the attention like other weight classes? Many people say it's because the fighters are too small. He wants to know your opinion on that.
You know what? I'm not sure because we really don't get a lot of attention like right now. I know I did, but
yeah,
the reason I did a lot had to do with the Olympic Games. A lot had to do with that. But and then when I started fighting. After the Olympics, I started fighting, and then I started knocking people out. And then they said, "Man, this small guy is knocking people out.
Yeah.
Let's put him on national TV." I was on every national TV station at that time.
Yeah.
And I was the smallest guy. And right now, none of the small guys are doing anything. I like what's his name, the guy from Nicaragua.
Oh, Chocolatito Gonzalez?
Chocolatito.
Yeah.
I like him. I liked his style. He was doing good for a while. Then he lost to that Thai guy. But I'm not sure who's around anymore though, because I haven't been following it too much.
Yeah. Well, they have Inoue, like the Japanese kids are coming up, and
yeah, I think it's a great weight class. I mean, all those lower weight classes. I mean, you get your money's worth. You get the action. I think it's a fun, super fun weight to watch.
Yeah,
not knocking heavyweights, but really, we had this conversation on the show not too long ago. These heavyweights, a lot of them were just not really athletic. They were just big kids and big people growing up in boxing.
Yeah.
What they kind of fell into.
Big dumb animals.
As where your lower weight classes or where these kids been in the gym for all their lives and you know, perfecting boxing, their style and everything. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael, you get a question from Benny Ace from Chicago. He wants to know what drove you to be great. What kept you motivated in the gym?
Being the champion, being number one, just beating everybody. I mean, just like, it was just fun in there. But you know what? It's the fact that I love to fight.
Yeah.
I love to get in there. It didn't matter what you hit me with, whatever you did. I just love to fight, and that's what kept me going.
Wow.
And being number one.
That's
a lot of motivation there.
It is.
Too.
And Damon Martinez wants to know, Mike, you had an incredible work rate and a punch output. Do you teach that to your fighters, or do you kind of just stick to their style? Do you kind of go on their strengths?
I see what they're like.
Yeah.
I just look at what they are and what kind of style they have, and see what they have. But I tell them just to relax. That's what you need to do in the first place. First, you have to relax. Don't worry about your how many punches you're throwing. You just want to be there to connect.
Yes.
And be precise and know what you're hitting him with and know what he's coming back at you with. So that's all I do.
Yeah.
That's what I teach.
Wow. Yeah. And Jimmy Guerrero wants to know, do you still have your tail that you used to wear?
No, I don't have that anymore.
Hey, that tail. I had that tail too.
That was a little trademark.
Hey, I liked it.
I did too. I almost got kicked out of parochial school for the tail.
For having the tail?
Yeah.
Yeah. We had it.
That's funny.
I mean, you've set the stage for all these other world champions coming up nowadays. You know, almost every world champion attributes their career to you somehow. It's an honor. It's one of the biggest honors in the world.
Yeah, you know what? It is. It's a great honor, man, and I appreciate all the fans that I had, because you know what? They also motivated me too. You know, all of them. I mean, when you have a big crowd, and they're screaming and yelling for you.
Yeah.
Man, you just get so pumped and so motivated. You just want to go out there and give them a good show.
Exactly, and that's one thing.
Yeah, even though you just go in there and just you know what you're gonna do, and you know what you want to do, and just relax in there. But you're hearing all the fans. That helps you.
And that's one thing nobody can take away from you. You've always gave the fans 100%. You've given everything to the fans, and you've given everything to the sport, and you deserve every success you get in life. I mean, and I it's an honor to talk to you today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, James. I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah, Mike, it was definitely
that's very honorable. What you just said right there. Yes. I love that, man.
Thank you.
That really hits my heart.
And I'm serious. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Like how excited I was to have you on the show today.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And again, on my behalf, it was an honor to have you on. And hopefully we can get you back on again here not too long from now.
We would love to have you back on, Mike.
Anytime, Kelly. And you had a great career too, man.
Oh,
thank you for all of that. Thank you for all the excitement you gave us too.
Oh, well, I truly appreciate it. Thank you.
Always, man.
Well, we will stay in touch with you, Mike.
Always, man. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me on the show.
Oh, thank you,
Kelly.
Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, champ.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. And that was the great Michael Carbajal. Can you see I went fanboy?
Yes.
I did. I'm sorry, guys.
Yes. You knew everything about him.
You know what? I fucking read that when I was like 5 years old, man.
Sorry we couldn't get all the questions into,
guys.
I mean, you have somebody, when you get these big guests, there's a lot to ask them, and then they start talking, and you obviously want to hear everything they're saying. And but I felt we got as many questions answered as we could for.
We did, and Michael, just a great guest. I mean, I love like for me, that's like for some fans, like that's like my Roberto Duran or Thomas Hearns. Do you know what I mean? That's like my Muhammad Ali is Carbajal, because when I was a kid, he was the first fighter that I saw when I became an amateur in 1988. Right after the Olympics, I started.
Yeah.
He was the first amateur I ever saw, and then I said, "Well, shit, that's who I want to be like." And he's my size.
That's true. But Chris Otto over here says, you an old creepy stalker at
Hey,
one point, James.
I fucking, when I say I know everything about Michael, I fucking know everything. I was reading stuff about him. That was from what I read about.
I was waiting for James to say, hey, Mike, how long ago did you get that lounge chair you're sitting in?
Hey, you're still on 9th Street, Jim? Yeah. No, like when I brought up about the Magilla Gorilla thing, that was from the brochure of the 1988 Olympics. So I had that brochure, you know.
Yeah, no, that was awesome, you know, to have him on
And
there.
I'm telling you what, I've met Muhammad Ali. I've met I met Joe Frazier. I've met the kid that beat Ingemar Johansson. What's his name?
Yeah.
Floyd Patterson. I've met some of the greats. I've met Duran. I met
I
Chavez.
think the greatest
and
thing
I'm more
though,
excited.
that happened for you, the coolest and greatest thing of all, you know, being a huge boxing fan, was the fact that you get to sit next to Kelly the Ghost Pavlik and do a show. Right?
Yeah, that's good too.
I mean, right?
That's great too.
Who would have thunk?
It's an honor and a privilege.
That's honor and privilege. It's a great thing.
Over riding all these motherfucking names off. And...
Yeah. Well, you know, but you're my buddy.
I know it don't count.
Yeah, it does. One day I'll tell my great grandkids I had a show with you. They're gonna say, "You fucking liar! Go back to the nursing home." I'm gonna be at the bar telling everybody I had a show with Kelly. They're gonna tell me I had enough to drink.
You'll lose all the pictures in your phone. Never will be saved.
Yeah, I'm gonna be 80 at the bar telling everybody I used to have a radio show with Kelly. They're gonna cut me off and tell me to go home. I've had enough. You know what I mean?
Like, Kelly's been there 40 years now.
Yeah. And this one, what happened to Kelly? Oh, he's dead. What happened? I don't know.
He got shot
He
with a BB gun.
got shot with a BB gun? No, but so like, you know, who else we got? We got Matt Brown coming today.
Yeah, is he calling you? Or?
I'm calling Matt.
Okay.
I'm gonna call Matt because that's just how we do things around here. But you want me to call him because we're gonna be on this thing? We're gonna miss the questions. We're gonna miss the questions though. You have to turn the Facebook on yours. You got it?
Yeah. Another thing from here from Chip Ross off the YouTube. Watching Carbajal as a kid is the reason why I love watching the lower weight classes now.
It's true.
It really is exciting. I mean, the fights at that weight are exciting. Just to be able to see and watch how many punches, and they're very tactical. All them guys at that weight are very tactical.
Very smart.
They have to be, because unfortunately, not a lot of them carry power, and they know they have to be in shape. And
the few guys that do sell tickets, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But look what Damon said. Greg Duke moment. Oh, this motherfucker! Right? He wants to bring up Greg Duke now. I thought we put that to rest. Greg Duke. We need to bring Greg back on the show.
Nothing sleeps for long.
Rigo or Loma. We've been over this 100 times, Daniel. I'm going with Loma, and where's Kelly going?
Loma. Aggressive style, I think. I know the more and more this fight goes, though, the more I lean towards. I mean, it's getting tougher and tougher to call. I'm still going to lean towards Lomachenko, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, Chris said he can't remember a lot about Carbajal because you used him. That's because British people don't follow fighters that small, Chris. You guys are stuck on your guys' fighters still. You guys all think Anthony Joshua is the greatest. And Frank Bruno and Barry McGuigan. Isn't that what that one fucking guy? Damon, what's the dude's name that had his top 10 for listening? They were all British. And you guys were making fun of him.
Yeah, Bruno. Lennox
Did you
Lewis.
see that? Lennox Lewis, Bruno, Anthony Joshua, Barry McGuigan, Nassim Hamed. That was the pound for pound
They
greats.
probably even throw some other UK guys that are like Calzaghe and Ricky Hatton.
Melissa has a great question. What do you think about Kovalev's mental game going into his next fight? Do you think he recovered from Ward's loss? I hope so. Well, let me tell you, Melissa, I've talked to some of Ward's camp, or not Ward, Kovalev's camp, Roger, and then we're working in his camp, and they said that the guy has made a 180-degree turnaround with his life.
Yeah, and it wasn't a fight where he got brutally beat up. I mean, it wasn't a war. He didn't. I don't know. It was just one of the fights that wasn't his night. He was outclassed.
Yeah.
He wasn't in shape, and against fighting a guy like Andre Ward, that's what happened is what you expect to happen.
Yeah.
And
Andre Ward's one of the greatest fighters of our generation.
I mean, he wasn't knocked down 4 times and beaten up and knocked out brutally. So
it says Chris says we're the greatest fans on the planet. We turn up the shows, because your shows don't cost that much. They charge us $500 to $10,000 for a seat. You guys get your seat's a hell of a lot cheaper than we do. You can force to.
Chris, we love you though. Don't let James ain't knocking too much.
Yes, I'm fucking done with these.
We like our British fans. We do.
I'm fucking done with the British fans. I'm just kidding, guys. I love the British fans.
I'm trying to get over to England, man.
Oh, because you know what? Kelly has we have a new assistant producer today, I guess, Gabby. But
I got a lot of fans from.
I've heard that Kovalev is actually underweight right now, and he's not boozing anymore, and that was a big story, and that was a big deal. But I think we're gonna see the best of him on this time around.
Well, you want to give Matt a call?
We will give Matt a call. I'm gonna go give Matt a call, guys, and we're gonna talk to Matt Brown, who just had a big knockout win over Diego Sanchez in the UFC, and this guy is one of the toughest, most lethal guys in the sport.
Oh, it's always a fun time bullshitting with Matt, though.
Yeah, because he doesn't give a shit.
You know?
He probably don't give so much of a shit, he won't even answer the phone.
Hey, what's up, bro?
Hey, Matt, what's going on?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. You're here on the Punchline with me, Kelly Pavlik, and James Dominguez. How you been enjoying the time after this fight, bud?
I've been doing great, man. Actually, just coming down from the mountain right now. Went on a little snowboard trip with the fam.
Nice.
So, yeah, man, just eating it up. That's the main thing. Just
Can I ask what you're weighing right now? How much you put on?
Well, I actually left my scale at the hotel on accident and haven't had any interest in going buying another one yet. Not 100% sure.
I'm saying 185.
That's why I always got disposable skills.
I'm saying 185, right, 190. So how you been doing, Matt? This is James. How's everything going?
Yeah, it's been going great, man. Just relaxing, man, and enjoying a little bit of time off, and then enjoy the holidays this weekend and get back to the grind next week.
That's awesome. Kelly was saying the other day when you get back into camp, he wants to get some rounds in. He wants to spar.
No, I did not say that. I said if I was ever to do that, yes, I would have to get my fat ass in shape a little bit, because right now they would have to put a muzzle on you so you didn't kiss me while you were beating the shit out of me.
So. Well, I don't know. You're pretty hard-hitting dude.
Yeah.
So.
We're actually, we had this MMA fighter recently, this amateur. He has about 3 fights in, right? So he's took to like 3 different opportunities to totally disrespect Kelly in front of like people. You know what I mean? Like at different events, like at the gym. I don't know why this guy does that, but I'm saying that's
not
it.
Too bad.
We're gonna call Matt. We're gonna have him whoop his fucking ass.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Like maybe even just sparring. If we know we couldn't get you guys to fight, but just get a little sparring session. Like bring him down to earth a little bit.
Yeah, we've been trying to call. I'm gonna call Matt up. I'm gonna try to call Rocky. I'm calling somebody to whoop this dude's ass. That's what we've been saying.
Sounds like fun to me. I'm down. Let's go.
I'm over here trying to persuade the head guy at the commission, allow certain things to pass for a fight.
All right.
No, like it's serious. Like it was like blatant disrespect in front of like you don't do, and his guy's 3-0 and thinks he's a fucking rock star,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's this new generation, man. That's the way all these guys are coming up these days. They think they're entitled after nothing, man. They put nothing in. They want to get everything out, man.
You know,
they think their mouths can work all the magic, and
yeah.
I guess in some cases they can. But
Well,
that's not the world I came from, and
No.
I think they said the same for you guys.
you know, you came up the hard way, Matt. I mean, you went through hell to get where you're at, you know, and that's why I always respect you for it, you know, and how hard you worked. And I tell people, I said, you know, I've worked with dozens of MMA fighters. I said, you punch harder than almost all of them. You know, you punch hard.
Nice face.
I've held the mitts for you quite a bit, you know, and I've said, fuck, this guy hits hard.
Yeah, you know, and I got a couple quick questions too. First, I got a fan that wants to ask you a question, and I think it's kind of a joke. You know, he's trying to make some fun. Daniel Martinez, he said, "Was James a good stand-up coach, or did he suck?"
I like James, man. He knows some good stuff for sure.
Yeah, I figured that. And you know, Matt, going on that, I was able to catch your last fight, and you know, it was very. I'm not saying this because you're on the air, and you know, I'm a fan of yours. I'm saying it because it's true. You know, I thought that was just a great showing. You know, it was really nice to see in any combat sport. You know, what how nice the commentators were afterwards and whatnot. And man, that was a vicious shot you caught him with there too. I mean, that was like almost scripted. It looked like it was like a hardcore scene from a movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like John Wick 3?
Yeah, or like a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. The dude, he had you like a little hurt to the body, and he threw the kick, and you just caught his leg in midair, like,
and walked him back to the cage like a child.
Walked him back, and it just dropped the elbow. It was like a hardcore movie scene, and no, that was pretty sweet, man. So I wanted to congratulate you on that. So
yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, thanks. And man, did the best I could, man. That's all I do every time. So, you know, Diego's a fucking warrior, man.
Yeah.
You know, he's an old school guy. And I've loved him for years. One of my favorite fighters to watch. So, definitely honored to have been in there and shared the cage with him.
Were you wanting to fight him for years, or did it just come up?
I want to fight everybody.
Yeah, I know.
Kind of you know, I look at every fighter and I said, I'd love to fight him, you know, to see if I could whoop his ass, you know. But me and Diego have been sort of on parallel paths. I mean, he's been a little confused as to what weight he needs to be at.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of his biggest flaws or downfalls. But, you know, he used to be, you know, just purely a 170-pound guy. And,
yeah. Well, he started at 145, didn't he? 145?
Yeah, and during then he started at 185, actually.
Yeah, okay.
70, 55, and then he then went down to 45, but you could tell that was really hurting him. And, you know, he's just had problems just figuring out where he fits in, I guess. I think he's one of those guys where probably a 160 or 165 would be really ideal for him. And yeah, unfortunately, MMA we just don't have enough weight classes. I think.
True.
For me, 170 is very brutal to get to. 175 I can handle. So that's
with your
those last. I mean, you guys know how it is. I mean, when you're cut weight, I mean, you know, boxing is a little different because you have so many weight classes. But you know when you went one weight class down too far with those extra 3-4 pounds.
Oh yeah, well,
really make a huge
even
difference.
in boxing with the weight classes, I mean sometimes that's just a brutal jumping, and 1 pound, 2 pounds is a huge difference, even in boxing. You know, for any fighter, yeah, that does. It takes a toll, and no matter how good you cut it, how good of a dietitian you have, when you start cutting so much weight, and then to be in a combat sport where you expend so much energy, man, unless you got that down like exactly, it takes from you, you know. But hey, real quick, we had a kid, Billy Greenwald. He said that he could beat the shit out of that kid for us too.
Okay.
So yeah, we're like little mobsters over here, Matt. We're just getting people, you know, we're sending people out.
Yeah, we even called Rocky. We even called Rocky to take care of it. Like we've been pissed about it for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Because Kelly can't hit him, and I'm afraid if I fucking hit him, I'm too old for that shit, man. I can't fight like that no more. So let me ask you this, Matt. With your, you know, with making the weight and stuff, does age really play a factor? Has age played a factor for the way you go about cutting weight and stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when that's something I've had to learn because when I was 28, 29 years old, I thought that I was eating a good diet, and
Yeah.
in some respects I was, but I could really eat anything I wanted. I just happened to be eating what I thought was good and was still able to make the weight.
Yeah.
Over the years, it's changed, and now, I mean, if I eat one cheat meal through camp, I notice a big difference, and that ends up, kind of snowballing into the weight cut. Even if I cheat, 3-4 weeks out, it's sort of a domino effect, and eventually, that week of the fight is a little bit harder. And I noticed that now, whereas before, I guess if I had a cheat meal or maybe wasn't eating so good, you didn't really notice a difference. The weight just came off the same as it would anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's the number one thing that I've noticed, that my metabolism's a little slower, so I have to actually eat less calories than I did before. I've changed up my diet a lot. I do like a ketogenic diet now.
Okay.
Mix that in.
You cut a lot of carbs out then with that ketogenic?
What's that?
You've cut a lot of carbs out with that ketogenic diet then?
All carbs, yeah. There's basically getting a less than 20 grams of carbs per day when you're doing ketogenic.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. Like when I was younger and fighting I first turned pro, I was at 154 and junior middleweight, and then went up to that. And I remember everybody keeps saying, "Man, you're tall for that weight class," and thank God you're young. But when you're young, everything, you just totally think different on everything, and you don't believe what people are telling you. And they're like, "Yeah, wait till you get a little older. It's going to get harder and harder." And on my head, I'm going, "Oh, shut up. What are you talking about? I make this weight easy." Next thing you know, you're over there figure out what limb you could cut off to try to make weight. So, yeah.
And like I said, those cheat meals have a lot bigger effect, right? Like over the years.
Yeah, they did.
And I think there's a time and a place for cheat meals, even for the highest level athletes. But for me, the cheat meal has to be planned out now, right? I have to plan it for a certain time. And what it's going to be for the cheat. And it can't just be back in the day. A cheat meal meant eat whatever the fuck you want in the night.
Yeah.
And now it's got to be even that is still a plan there.
You know what my dad used to do with me? I used to like here and there at night because I used to make weight fairly easy, and it would be a little struggle obviously, but I was the type of guy I'd go to the refrigerator and just pick like one or two things that I shouldn't have been eating, especially late at night. So what he started doing was he'd make me a cabbage soup, and that give me a little bit of that because it'll clean me out too, and that
we lost him.
I just didn't meant to talk to him. I tried asking Carbajal questions, and I just got cut off there.
He's in the mountain.
These are great stories for me, I guess, right, guys?
Here's a good time for it, if you feel like it.
What is that?
A request from your favorite.
What is it? Well, we lost contact with Matt, but we'll get back to him in a minute, or I'm sure he'll call, one of the two. He's on the mountain in Colorado snowboarding, guys, so
yeah,
he's suffering today.
Well, we're at that.
We're going to stream that tomorrow.
Yeah, I have a good friend, Chuck Haskell, and I want to give a little shout out for his fights tomorrow. It's Fight Night 10 at the Palermo Center in Camel, Ohio. Gates open at 6. Fights start at 7:30. His shows are good and they're entertaining and good matchups.
Yeah.
So, but again, tomorrow night, Fight Night 10 at the Palermo Center in Camel, Ohio. Gates open at 6 o'clock and the fights start at 7:30. And that's Chuck Haskell.
Yes.
Hello?
And we'll give one more shot at the end.
Yeah, sorry about that, man.
Oh, it's okay.
Not the best.
It's fine. And we're back now with Matt Brown, and
Yeah. No, I was saying before it cut out. Yeah, so he used to make me a little bit of cabbage soup at night. And so I fill my belly up so I could be able to, fall asleep. And it kind of cleared me out, too, the next day. So it was actually pretty good.
I might have to try that.
yeah. Well, I remember the
I
Nationals.
guess.
Oh, go ahead.
I guess I do something kind of similar. Like at nighttime when I'm hungry and can't sleep, a lot of times I'll eat sauerkraut, which is cabbage. So,
Really? Okay. Does your wife do your cooking for you when you're in camp?
Sometimes, I'm really picky, really anal on just, I do a lot of my stuff myself. I do a lot of my cooking and stuff by myself, and
Okay.
I like to be involved in all aspects of my camp, from the training. Like, I talk to my strength and conditioning coaches, and make sure that I'm on board with everything we're doing. Make sure I understand everything we're doing. I talk with my striking coaches, wrestling coaches, in nutrition. I have mental coach, like everybody. I play a part in every little part. I don't like giving total control over to anyone. I look at it like, I'm the CEO of this business, and I'm the one who has to believe in it when I step in that cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely, and I know from experience, you stay busy. You're always every part of your camp. You're part of and you're one of those guys at 110% through camp. So let me ask you this: did Dana White roll out the red carpet for you to not retire after that fight?
I actually didn't even talk to Dana.
Really?
Usually he calls me after fights, but
yeah, that's true.
The whole world of UFC is changing, man. It's becoming much more global, and it's such a big sport now. And he's got these gigantic stars he's dealing with, and maybe I'm just another guy now. I don't know.
I don't know about that.
It is what it is.
I think a lot of people changed their opinions, after this last fight, just on the base of that knockout. But you're even getting fans asking you. They think, what do you think about Dana White going into the boxing promotion business?
I actually think it could be a very good thing, man. I think boxing has been a big mess for a long time, I think.
Yeah.
And I think there's things that MMA and UFC could take from boxing, and I think there's a lot that boxing could take from UFC and MMA.
I agree.
Specifically with the less belts, maybe less weight classes. I would, we're kind of touching on that earlier. That's kind of a little bit a longer subject. But those two things, and the number one contender should be fighting for the belt.
Yeah, exactly. But
I mean, that's the worst thing in boxing, right? I mean, these so many belts, and nobody knows who the number one contender is. Depends on what organization and or what belt, and it's just such a mess, man. And that's something I think would go a long way to get things cleaned up, and I think people would really it would just be much more attractive to the sports, man, if those are cleaned up. And I think it's something that attracts people to MMA. The fights that the fans want to see get made.
I agree with you on that, but I look at it kind of like both ways too, though. I definitely think the number one contender, should have his mandatory shot. But the only thing I could maybe see why there's 3 sanctioning bodies or 4 is you have so many fighters, and you got so much talent anymore, and some guys who could be in the number one contender and are right in the brink in the top 5, and they just don't get to, they may not get the shot. And the UFC or boxing, I mean, anything can happen. I mean, anything could go in a fight, and now they lose that opportunity. I think that maybe the plus with all these organizations is that some guys get more looks and get an opportunity, and then at the same time, though, it does get a little bit out of hand because now you got too many alphabets, and
I couldn't agree more. I see both sides. The only reason that I lean towards the side of less belts and things like that is for the fans to follow easier. And I think when the fans get more involved and they talk more, then that's when the guys that deserve the fights get the chances more often because they have the fans clamoring for them.
Yeah, that's true. And it's with boxing, it's the same thing that you just talked about earlier, Matt. It's a different generation. guys don't want to fight each other. They would rather pay $200,000 to step aside so they don't have to get their ass whooped.
Yeah, and they have the opportunity because there is other belts out.
There's other belts.
They could, yeah, that's why that's another bad thing with all the belts. They can take sidestep and take easier fights.
When you take that ability to sidestep a challenge, I think boxing will improve. When you can't sidestep, you either make the fight or you fall to the bottom of the rankings. You know what I mean? That's the way it is in the amateurs.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say I have the answer or that the UFC getting involved is going to be an answer or anything like that, but I'm hoping that maybe they bring some of that side of things to it. And I think that UFC has also done a much better job promoting its athletes.
That's true.
And, boxing, you promote yourself, right? And I mean, in some respects you do in the UFC, but you can. But man, if UFC wants you to be a star, they're going to make you a goddamn star.
That's true.
Exactly.
And the thing is, you have the biggest fight and one of the biggest fan fights in boxing history coming up in December with Lomachenko and Rigondeaux. You don't hear shit about it. Nobody's talking about this fight.
Who you all got in that fight? Let's talk about it.
We got Lomachenko. I do.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Lomachenko. I mean, the closer the fight gets, I'm not picking Lomachenko as comfortably, but I think with his aggressive style, I think he pulls it out.
I've been a Rigondeaux guy the whole time.
Really?
But I only wonder about the weight. I think Rigondeaux is actually a better, the worst matchup for Lomachenko and has everything to beat him. But the weight, I just don't know about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing, too. I think with Lomachenko's aggressive, a little more aggressive style, and then with that weight, different, or weight advantage, I think that could play into his part.
Yeah, that's true.
In close rounds, the aggression may win him the round and whatnot.
I think a lot of it is we know Lomachenko personally. Me and Kelly, we've hung out with him, and Roger's Lomachenko strength and conditioning coach. So we kind of we're kind of connected that way. So we kind of stick with the guy we know. But I just think that he's a bigger guy, and I think he's going to kind of impose that heavier weight on him.
It makes a lot of sense. The only reason that I was kind of thinking the weight may not make a difference is because they're not really like the type to. I mean, maybe his power, it could be a difference maybe, but they're not really the type to clinch up. Either one of them. They're not really the type to lay on each other, push each other. And they said they're not really knockout guys either. So
my concern though is what are they going to weigh in after? Because Rigondeaux probably come in at 125 like he normally does because he walks around about 118 has to come up. He'll probably walk around about 126, 127. Lomachenko's going to be 140.
Yeah.
Wow, is Lomo that big now? I didn't realize he was even that big. I thought he was in the 30s.
He fights at 30, but he's going to, at the day after, he's going to be 40, 37, 40, The guy's 5'9". He's a big guy.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm excited to see that one for sure.
Well, we're going to be there.
The fans aren't more behind it now.
Yeah, they don't push those fights kind of, like UFC does. You don't see it.
No, they don't. The UFC markets, they do. You see them, they cross over mainstream a lot with their guys in commercials and just a lot of things. Their sponsorships, they get them out there for the commercials, and they market their fighters, and they do. I mean, that's obvious to see. So.
Yeah, that's what I hope they're able to bring into boxing, because the one thing I hate is a boxing versus MMA argument. I like to see both coexist, and I'd like to see them both flourish. I love combat sports, and I want to see combat sports flourish, regardless of what sport it is. I want to see wrestling come up way more than it has, and Lord knows if that will ever happen. And jiu-jitsu and judo and sambo, everything. I want to see all combat sports, especially kickboxing. That's the worst. Kickboxing should be way more popular than it is, but nobody's put the right time, energy, and money behind it. So that's what it is. Speaking
of kickboxing, have you seen Dorian lately? Dorian Price?
Yeah, well, he coached me for that fight,
awesome.
And he went back home right after the fight. But
back to Thailand?
Yeah, we. That's his real home, but no, his home with his family here, Baltimore, Maryland.
For most of you guys who don't know, Dorian Price is probably one of the best kickboxers in the world. He's an amazing athlete. He is, and I love his stories about Thailand. I mean, they're funny.
I don't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's he's such a humble guy. You know, he's such a great kickboxer, but he won't even, he don't believe he's one of the best in the world, and you know, he's humble to a fault. So
he is. What season was he in the UFC? Was he 10?
What's that?
Dorian was season. What season was he? 5 in the UFC.
No, he was on 6, and then I was on 7.
Yeah, you were on 7, and I remember that. I remember watching you on season 7. That was a crazy season.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
that was a good season.
You know, Matt, it's always an honor to have you on, and you're one of me and Kelly were talking. You're one of our favorite guests to have on the show, and we'd love to have you back whenever you want to come on.
We don't even have to ask fucking questions, man. We just give you the mic and let you talk.
Yeah, because you know, a lot of the fans don't know that you're a wealth of information in boxing and mixed martial arts. You know boxing just as well. So.
Maybe not just as well, but I study it like crazy for sure.
Yeah.
I like the boxing history a lot nowadays, even more so than today's boxing. I like reading about the history, man.
Well, you know, Mikey Garcia not too long ago said you were his favorite MMA fighter, so that was pretty cool.
Well, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, he was talking about. He goes, we were talking about that knockout. He goes, yeah. He goes, I like that. He goes, I watched that knockout. I was like, yeah. He goes, my TV went out. Like, I guess he said the TV kind of fluttered out when you got that knockout, and then the replay showed it.
Yeah. I did watch the replay.
Yeah, but like I said, it's a great having you on, and I would love to have you on again, Matt.
Yeah, definitely, Matt. Again, we'll get you back on here. You know, we totally appreciate it, dude. So.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate it. And, keep up the good work, man. Good show, guys. I like it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Matt. Appreciate it, bud.
All right, talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
And that was the immortal Matt Brown. I mean, what can you say? The guy is straightforward. He don't give a shit if he pisses off. I remember one episode we were talking about who you got, Mayweather and McConnor, and he's all, fuck Connor, I got Mayweather.
I think he's a guy you'll see eventually soon, you know, really soon if he stays retired, doing commentating for UFC too.
I think so.
He speaks very well, and you know,
I think so, and
he's a very knowledgeable guy.
He's a great instructor too, a great teacher. He's a great coach, you know, kickboxing coach and jiu-jitsu. Yep. So I mean, that's a guy you're gonna see a lot of. You know, I'm happy to call him a friend. We know each other a long time, and just So, any questions or anything going on? No. UFC's not that popular with them, huh?
No. Oh boy. Is there any more questions from anybody?
All right, guys, we're gonna go into some question segments. And we're gonna talk about some fights, and it says Rigo wins in style. Chris says that. I don't know, Chris. I think you're gonna be wrong on that one. Don't shut your Facebook down the next day.
What did he say?
He said that he got Rigo winning. He has Rigo winning the fight pretty easily over Lomachenko. And I told him not to shut his Facebook down the next day. Chris was enjoying listening to him. He said he didn't ask any questions. Yeah, Chris, Matt's one of those guys that are just full of knowledge about both sports. So it's, you know, and he's humble.
Yeah, I'll be right, and I'm going
to be right. I'm not going to shut up about it. I bet when you're wrong, you're going to shut your Facebook off the next day.
I just don't see it. I don't see, you know, again, boxing is boxing, and it's not out of the question for that to happen, but I don't see it.
Kendall wants to know we're going to hang out in Vegas. When you quit sending us dick pictures.
Yeah. When you quit blowing up my inbox with
fucking
booty holes the size of a cup and turds coming out of it.
Dude, I get this picture and I think, oh, wonder Kendall sent me. And then some chick eating a shit. You know what I mean? Like, thanks, Kendall.
A cup of shit.
Thanks, buddy. And then I said, is that what you want to be doing when Jesus comes back?
He probably wants to go to Vegas to watch the live shows of that shit. Whatever. What is that they have out there?
2 girls in a cup?
Chicken coop or whatever that is.
No, that's Mexico. That has the donkey show and the chicken show.
Yeah, don't follow the crowd in Tier 1. You will end up at the donkey show.
Yeah.
Jason Morgan says, Kelly, do you think MMA does more crossover? Do you think they should have to rematch them in their sport in MMA?
They do rematch.
They do.
Yeah, you know, Connor and Nate.
Nate, yep, three times.
They fought 3 times, and Again, going on, I mean, it's hard to say in boxing. Okay, check it out. Boxing takes black eyes, but boxing always rebounds. And just look at 2017, what boxing has done so far. It has surpassed UFC big time. So, I mean, you can always say, like, boxing needs this and needs that, but, again, after a year like this year, how can you say that? You know what I mean? Like, I just say let it go. And boxing is not going to go nowhere. It's going to be boxing, and I don't think boxing.
Boxing's been dead for 40 years. People's been saying that for 40 years. It's dead. When pro wrestling came out, boxing was dead. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Roller derby came out, boxing was dead. American Gladiators, boxing was dead. You remember that?
Yeah.
I remember American Gladiators. That was a great.
That
show.
was fun.
I
I always want to get in that big cage.
But I remember. Oh yeah.
Nitro's ass. That was
I want to kick that asshole's ass too. But you remember, and then what was the other one? Roller games. You remember that? That came out. Boxing was done. MMA started maybe about 15, 20 years ago. Boxing was done. And you know what? Boxing is still here.
Again, I mean, like what I said is look at the numbers that boxing has done this year. Like
over $6 billion net in these fights in buys.
But the big thing is though that the promoters got to keep doing what they're doing like they are this year. Though I mean, fights are happening, of interest, and it's keeping everybody interested.
What do you guys think about the big money prize-wise, as far as the big fights for boxing versus the big fights for UFC? Because the big fights for UFC, the champion of a UFC fight only gets $500,000.
Well, that's because they don't have anybody competing. There is no checks and balances. If Dana White's the only game in town, they're going to take what you fucking give him.
I mean, they've got Bellator though. It's up and coming too. I mean, it's been picking up.
Yeah, but with anything,
a lot of the UFC fighters are especially the former champs, are moving over to Bellator.
Well, with anything though, if there's not any competition, they can pay you what you want. Boxing has these other promoters and that they compete against each other, and networks even get involved.
Well, networks have a big part in that too. Okay, in boxing, and networks have started this years ago now with putting up the purse or paying for the main event, co-main event, and so now it's already been established. Like, well, the networks are going to give us say $40 million for a De La Hoya. So they're automatically going to put $40 million in the pot
for the whole card.
Yeah, pretty much. The main event, co-main event. That's usually what they pay. Yeah. So right there, as a promoter, you're like, shit. Okay, well, when you have a big name, that as a promoter, you're still going to have to feed on top of that guaranteed money. Like De La Hoya was making $55 million guaranteed, then percentage of pay-per-view.
Yeah. Yep.
But so boxing established that already, as we're like James is saying, UFC has one guy, and even what Bellator in there now.
Bellator,
yeah.
But it's a whole different promotion that don't work together.
Yeah, and there's still not enough. There's not enough in there to compete with each other to throw money out there, and Bellator can still get away with lowballing these guys too. They may. Dana White's going to pay this guy $500,000. Bellator might come in and say, "Well, we'll pay you $575,000." They're not going to jack it up to $2 million if they ain't got to. Right?
I wanted to ask Matt what you thought, because there have been talks for years. So some fighters like George St. Pierre mentioned years before. I don't know if they're still trying to do it, but they had talked about getting a fighters union together.
Yeah.
For all the fighters in the UFC. I want to know what his opinion was on that. I completely forgot.
You should have. You can text him and ask him. yeah, I got his number. But the thing is, Dana's very anti-union, anti-anything. Dana don't want shit like that. No promoter wants a union. No promoter wants that.
No.
Because that's a kick in the balls for them. And the way they do things is now you have a checks and balance system. But on that, we also had one more thing going on the show. We had Michael Carbajal today, and we had a lot of fans that wanted to ask how the fight with Finito Lopez, Ricardo Lopez, and Michael Carbajal would have went. Let's take a few minutes on that. And Damon Martinez is really big on this. And how do you think that fight would have went, Kelly?
I say Carbajal. I just think
on the size.
Yeah, and power. When you have this, not only that, I mean, his skill, and then his conditioning, his punch output. It's just hard to beat somebody like that. For over that amount of time, rounds, it's just taxing on a body for his opposition. My
thing was this too. Finito Lopez was 51-0 at 105 pounds. But other than a couple guys, who did he fight in that 51-0 that Carbajal fought? You know what I mean? Carbajal fought the Gonzalez's, the Sif Bangpracons, the Arbakovs, the fucking what's the other kid's name that we were just talking about? The Arces, the Jorge Arces.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
and I'm not saying that because
He was on
we
the
had
show.
him on the show. I mean,
No.
literally, like, where we're breaking down, I mean, if somebody disagrees with us, try to counter back and show us
No.
a statistical point that you have.
We talked about this before. When you're at these small weight classes, like 105 to 108 pounds, that 3 pound difference is like 10% of your fucking weight class.
Yeah. Hey, Josie, can you just grab my in there?
You know, that 105 to 108 pounds is 10% of your weight. You know what I mean?
Thanks, bro.
So when you're taking that that big of a step, it's going to make a lot. And Ricardo Lopez, technically, might have been superior to Carbajal. Technically, he might have been, but the weight of that body and those punches, when Carbajal hits you, I don't care how fucking good you were.
And again, you know, if you really get into it and break it down, at that weight class, you're throwing. No, it's okay. You're throwing that many punches, you know, and that's how they fight at that weight class. You know, they do a lot of punches, they hit, they get countered. So you have to go through that for 12 rounds. Yeah, it's brutal. It truly is.
Daniel said Michael Carbajal was too small. How was he too small, Daniel? He was the bigger man. He was bigger than Ricardo Lopez. Ricardo Lopez is 105 pounds. It's okay, Daniel. And then we got and you know who I thought would have been a great fight too?
My coach.
Do you know who I thought would have been a great fight in their prime? Carbajal and Johnny Tapia at 115.
Oh. But that would have been an entertaining fight. I definitely would go with Carbajal on that one too.
It would be hard. It'd be hard because Johnny could punch and he could work. He outworked everybody.
He did, but Carbajal could too. And I don't know. I'm just going off of Tapia. To me, I think maybe I'm wrong and I have to go back.
Yeah.
Tapia kind of fell apart in some fights, though. I thought.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he did mentally. But like he did with Burra. But you know what? What about this too? What about Carbajal and Orlando Canizales? How would that have been too?
I wasn't really familiar with it.
Orlando's a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest.
Yeah, I can't comment on that one.
Yeah, I would love to get Orlando on the show sometime. Watch some footage of this guy. He's a one-punch knockout artist. Love you. Keep up what you're doing. Love your show. Keep it up, Kelly and James. Take care. You too,
Thanks,
Jason. Thank you. Hey, and
Jason's a good dude. I've known him for a while.
Okay, I didn't. And yeah, with the Finito and back to Finito and Carbajal, I just think Carbajal was the bigger guy, and I think that he would have done more.
Finito means finish in Italian.
It means finished in Spanish. Yep. It means the same in Italian.
Mm-hmm. No, it's only to say finito.
Well, when they told you Finito, when he tells you it's over, it was over. Usually when Lopez hits you. But I always laughed at Lopez. He had this little tiny body, and he had a head looked like a Rottweiler. Big ass fucking head, little body. You know what I mean? And it was all those little Mexican fighters, like Miguel Angel Gonzalez. He had a big giant head too.
You know, getting into that, genetically, if you take from geographically the people, regions.
Yeah.
Mexicans were, that's why they say they supposedly didn't take body shots that well. Small frames, they're notorious for small frames, but really thick skulls.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Like Chavez.
Yeah.
He could take a punch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, we have Willie Jenkins on there.
Willie's not. Willie hasn't been.
They had a whole breakdown of like every culture, you know, the race, like why, and it was pretty neat.
That is true.
That was years ago. I seen that so.
And then we had yeah, I mean, we've been I think I don't know. I'm stuck on this Johnny Tapia Carbajal thing in my head. Like,
it would be a great.
I don't know why nobody even thought of it. Like I never heard nobody say anything about it because they were at their prime at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I never heard. Hey, let's.
I thought Tapia was
112. He turned pro at. He fought at 112, and Carbajal was 108.
108.
That fight could have been.
Tapia moved up though too.
Tapia moved up to 15, 22, and then 26.
Mm-hmm.
But in that time period of that 12 to 15, Carbajal went up to 112 too. That fight could have been made.
Oh yeah. Okay. I don't know. That would have been a great fight. That would have been entertaining. I still think, like I said, Carbajal.
And they both were top rank guys. So why not?
Well, Top Rank probably wanted to keep him there too, though. Not.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and then and you know that's what we had some people ask that, you know, and And it's true. I mean, with Finito, I think Carbajal. I think it was a no-brainer. I think Carbajal would have won that, and not just because he was on the show. It's just I think he would have.
Well,
if there's no other questions, guys,
that's my little toy I play with.
Daniel said I'm like an encyclopedia. That's what I do at night, guys. I read and catch up on fights and stuff and study for the show. You know.
You got something to say there?
You get the Dave's and Sandy stuff?
Next week. Next week, guys.
Yeah, too much with the guest with Michael and Matt Brown.
Yeah, we don't have the second guest next week, so we're gonna do our the next week we're gonna do our chili contest, right? Our hot contest.
Yes, yeah, and that is going to be the Dave's Insanity sauce.
We're gonna try Dave's Insanity sauce, and we're gonna see how not hot Dave's Insanity is.
And well, real quick before I get this Carbajal versus Gonzalez.
Carbajal. I mean, right now, I don't know. I mean, Gonzalez hasn't fought the same kind of people that
Gonzalez in his prime. That
would have been
fight.
great.
I don't know.
Would have been great.
Yeah, that's a fight I couldn't really pick. Maybe and I take that back because now I sound like a hypocrite. Who knows? That was one fight with Gonzalez. He may come back. Who knows?
And do great. Because he's going back down in weight. He's not.
Exactly.
He's coming back
so
down.
Who knows? All right, and again, Chuck Haskell's fights tomorrow. It's fight night 10 at the Palermo Center in Camel, Ohio. Gates open at 6 and fights start at 7:30.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to go to Camel, Ohio,
It's a great place on it.
Watch the fights.
there's another amateur boxing, huh?
Was it? No. This one's MMA.
It's pro MMA, guys. It's MMA
An
fights.
MMA show.
I wonder if
There'll be 3 title fights. The 2 main events for the fight. Both of those guys will probably get their pro cards next fight.
Did that kid that's 3-0 fighting?
I believe he's supposed to. I have to check the card to make sure. You're talking about Dalton?
what's that?
Talking about Dalton?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He should be. He's supposed to be the main event.
This motherfucker.
So as long as his opponent makes weight, you guys come watch it.
He's going to end up losing.
He has so.
He's going to end up losing and it's going to steal all
He is
shit
good
from
though.
us.
The kid's good. The kid's a beast.
Yeah, we'll see what a beast he is because we got some plans for him. We called out literally the best fighters in Columbus, like Mo, Hannibal, and then Rocky Edwards.
Nice.
And then Rocky is a 20-something fight pro, but he said he wants to come down and teach him with some respect.
You guys gonna come tomorrow? You can have the same teacher after the Boston match. Just throw it down there.
Well, I know I'll get that. I'll stop over at Chuck's house.
Is it the same place?
Yeah.
Okay. We might make an appearance. We got nothing
Maybe
going
we
on.
can do something with the show.
Those ones are my seats.
What?
We'll take your seats because you're going to be sitting ringside, right?
Yeah, I got the videotape.
Yeah.
Are you gonna put on? Is it going on the show tomorrow too?
Yep.
Good.
Great.
Punchline will be sponsor. Punchline sponsors the fight.
Yeah, of course. MMA fights.
Streaming them.
But yeah, I think we had a great show today.
I thought it was nice.
I did. I thought it was good too. And Alicia says, "Hola, amigos," and Scott's watching, and I mean, I appreciate it from for everybody and for coming on today, guys. And next week, I think we have former WBC champion Steve Forbes coming on.
Okay.
He wants to talk boxing with us, and he had a fight with De La Hoya, and he wants to throw some experience in there. And then I think that's it for guests next week. And then after that, we're gonna do one more Technique Tuesday, and then we're gonna take the holidays off.
Yep, that's for sure.
We're gonna take the holidays off. We're gonna take a couple weeks off, a few weeks to regroup, and come up with a whole new show.
Yep.
And I appreciate it. Have a good week, guys.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.